a dimly lit throne room, the air thick with incense and intrigue. For over 2 millennia, Cleopatra VII has been remembered as the Siren of the Nile, the femme fatale who bewitched 2 of Rome's most powerful men. But was she really just a seductress? Or was Cleopatra a master of strategy, image, and diplomacy? Was she fighting not just for power, but for the survival of her nation? Welcome to Voices from the Shadows. Today we peel back the myths and propaganda to uncover the truth about the last pharaoh of Egypt. Part 1. The Rise of Cleopatra. Born in 69 BCE, Cleopatra was no ordinary queen. She belonged to the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek ruling family placed in charge of Egypt after Alexander the Great. But unlike her ancestors, Cleopatra embraced Egyptian culture, even learning the native language, a rare move that set her apart. She grew up in the Golden City of Alexandria, surrounded by scholars, scrolls, and strategy, fluent in as many as 9 languages, educated in mathematics, philosophy, astronomy, and politics. Cleopatra wasn't just beautiful, she was brilliant. In 51 BCE, at just 18, Cleopatra ascended to the throne, co-ruling with her 10-year-old brother Ptolemy III. But the court was a snake pit of conspiracies. Soon she was overthrown and forced into exile. Did she give up? No. Cleopatra raised an army, but she would need something more. She would need Rome. Part 2. The Caesar Connection. Enter Julius Caesar. A Roman general, fresh off a civil war, arrives in Alexandria. Cleopatra sees her chance. Legend says she smuggled herself into his chambers, hidden inside a rolled carpet. Fact or fiction, the message was clear. Cleopatra was bold, calculating, and willing to risk everything. Caesar backs her claim. War breaks out, Cleopatra wins. Together they tour Egypt. Cleopatra bears him a son, Caesarion. Then she sails to Rome as a queen, causing scandal and fascination. But in 44 BCE, Caesar is assassinated. Cleopatra flees, and just like that, the empire she had aligned with collapses into chaos. Her next move? Part 3. Master of Image. This is where Cleopatra's true genius shines. She transforms herself into the living embodiment of Isis, the Egyptian goddess. She blends religion with royalty, divinity with diplomacy. She is worshipped not just as a queen, but as a god. She stabilizes Egypt's economy, adjusts the currency, funds temples, builds fleets, forges alliances. She wasn't ruling in someone's shadow. She was the shadow and the light. Part 4. Antony and Cleopatra. Power couple. Years later, Mark Antony calls for her. She doesn't just arrive. She arrives as Venus on a golden barge, perfumes wafting through the air. Antony, the conqueror, is conquered. But this is not a love story. This is statecraft. Cleopatra gives Antony ships, money, and men. Antony gives Cleopatra territory, prestige, and security. They have children, rule the Eastern Mediterranean. And then, in a move that enrages Rome, they declare Caesarion the rightful heir of Caesar. Rome responds. Part 5. The Propaganda War. Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, sees Cleopatra as the ultimate threat. He launches a smear campaign. The foreign queen, the witch, the harlot who turned Antony against Rome. He doesn't declare war on Antony. He declares war on Cleopatra. In 31 BCE, the Battle of Actium. Cleopatra commands her own fleet, but the tide turns. She retreats. Antony follows. Rome wins. Octavian marches on Egypt. Part 6. Death on her own terms. Cleopatra locks herself in her mausoleum, hides her treasures, tries to negotiate. Octavian wants her alive for his Roman triumph. A chained queen paraded through the streets. Cleopatra has other plans. She arranges her death, a venomous asp, poison, no one knows. What we do know, she robs Rome of their victory. She dies with her head held high, as a queen, as a symbol. The woman behind the legend. Cleopatra was many things: mother, lover, queen, but above all, she was a survivor in a world designed to destroy women who led. Rome feared her because she was effective, ruthless when she needed to be, wise beyond her years. And yes, charming enough to bring generals to their knees. She played the game, not just as a player, but as a master. So was Cleopatra a seductress? Yes, when it suited her. But above all, she was a strategic genius. History remembers what it wants, but here in the shadows, the truth speaks. This was the voice of Cleopatra. If this changed the way you see Cleopatra, imagine how many other stories history got wrong. Subscribe to Voices from the Shadows, where myths are questioned, legends are re-examined, and the truth finally speaks. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next deep dive into the misunderstood figures who shaped our world. Got a historical villain you think deserves a second look? Drop their name in the comments. Let's bring their voice out of the shadows.